The college football experience, New Mexico Lobos 2023 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our very own Patreon. Yes, score exclusive perks and content available only to our patrons at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. And remember, folks, as always, to let it ride.
Hey, everybody, Jim McMahon here, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome. Welcome to the college football experience. New Mexico Lobos 2023 season preview episode. I'm excited to talk Lobos. I just sat down with a few of the Lobo players, and then I got an opportunity to sit down with Danny Gonzales at Mountain West Media Day. I'm excited. I'm optimistic. They were all fantastic people to meet. And look, if perhaps you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Let's go.
Yeah, buddy.
I mean, I like the New Mexico Lobos. I think I've said this forever in a day. I watch their college basketball games at the Pit, and the place is lit. I watched randomly, had the studio going, and I think it was a Texas Tech New Mexico game back in the 90s pop up on the screen here at the studio. Place was lit. There's no pro sports there. This thing is just, it's a dynamite stick that just needs to be lit, man.
Well, we were looking at it. This is one of, 4 states in the country that is college basketball is their favorite sport. So,
but it's so easy to take that.
They're very
look
good
at Kentucky
at college
now.
basketball.
Kentucky is a football school now. They're not a basketball school.
No, they're not. They're a basketball school. But
I would they not by the
they're
money.
They're better at football
right now.
And they'd probably generate more money because football in general generates more money.
I'm just saying there's a bit of a shift. There's a bit of a shift right now.
And a shift could easily occur for New Mexico.
That's what I'm saying. This is just sitting there. It's a big city.
Yeah.
This thing, come on. NIL. Let's get it going.
I mean, you're touching Texas.
Who could ignite this? Not that we're wishing, because Danny Gonzales was cool as fuck, man. I got this chance to sit
culture,
down.
Whether you like it or not. Yeah.
He is a Lobo himself, played under Rocky Long, and I'm wishing the best. Let's talk a little bit about it. I'm joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi,
let's get it going, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's get it going. Talk a little Lobos. Look, 1982, they won a national championship.
Nice.
They had the same record as Penn State. Penn State won the national championship, and they won the national championship in 1982 because they only had one loss. Same record. They didn't play.
There you
Plus,
go.
they didn't touch any children. So I'm going to go ahead and say
Found them.
They are the real national champions.
There you go.
Under Joe Morrison. But no, this is a program. I'm telling you, when Rocky Long had him going to 5 bowl games in 6 years, getting it done there in the 2000s.
Getting it done.
And then they made a mistake of saying, Rocky Long, you're no longer employed here, and Mike Loxley's our guy. And then they proceeded to go 3-33.
Yeah.
And then they hired Bob Davie, and that really was all right. He had a 9-win season in 2016.
Up and down.
And that's the last time they had a winning season.
Been a rough run.
But Danny Gonzales was hired the year that COVID happened.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, as a guy that traveled the United States during COVID, New Mexico was not fucking around. All right. It was interesting. You go to Arizona, you could do anything.
Yeah.
It was like a normal day. You go to New Mexico, couldn't even, you couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? Nothing was open.
Did okay there. 2-5 in year one during the COVID. It's been a little bit of a downhill slide from
3-9
a win percentage
the next year,
standpoint.
and then 2-10.
Yeah, 29%, 25%, then 17% as a 2-10 coach last year.
I liked what he did in the offseason, though. He went out and hired Bryant Vincent. So their offense, we're going to get into all this. I do think if you're a Lobo fan, you should be more optimistic this year for any year in the Gonzales era. Just going to go ahead and say that. Out of all of the years you've seen Gonzales there, I think this is the one you should be most optimistic.
And we will touch on why, but immediately.
Critical year though, year 4.
Having the worst offense in the country last year.
Second worst.
Okay, yeah, behind Iowa. There's a reason that there can only really be one reason why we see optimism. You guys figure that out. We'll talk about it.
Well, and I think knowing that he's a Lobo and he started year 1 at COVID. I don't know that a lot of people say, is he definitely on the hot seat? Would they give him one more year? I'm not sure.
You want to give your guy time, especially when you don't have a record, a history of great success. Let your guy cook a little bit.
I'm just saying it's a big year. It's a big year in Albuquerque, and I'm wishing the best. Danny Gonzales, I sat down with him, cool as hell, man. And by the way, folks, I did get a chance to ask him how he thinks he will fare in the Royal at Mountain West Media Day. I asked him, how do you think he would do in a Royal Rumble of coaches in the Mountain West? He said he would win easily, and he said, I fight dirty. I will cut Achilles. Ooh. I'll throw dirt in your eye like Ric Flair. Right,
my kind of guy.
So I'm starting to buy in on the tide turning there. For
sounds
it's
like
easy to see a tide turn.
Perfect fit for Albuquerque.
Yes, perfect fit. And look, we're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk transfer portal. We're going to go look at the offense, the defense, the special teams, forecast how they will do. They don't have Rocky Long anymore. We're going to touch base on that, and then we will go game by game on the Lobo schedule and project how they'll do in 2023. Excited to talk Lobos. But before we do that, I want to tell you that the New Mexico Lobo 2023 season preview episode on the college football experience is brought to you by Patreon. Yes, do your part in the war against corporate gambling and sign up for the Sports Gambling Podcast, the SGP Patreon. Ton of exclusive content, contests, and merch just for our patrons, plus a monthly SGP Stories podcast, which we'll hop on there, tell you some good old stories. It's an ad-free censored show. It'll be highlighting the best stories from decades of being DGens. Might tell that story of me having almost won 10 grand before you mushed me.
Jinxed you.
There's also a Discord channel just for our patrons. Sports Gambling Podcast Patreon is a great way to score exclusive perks and support SGPN. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Patreon. That's SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Patreon. All right, we are back on the college football experience. New Mexico Lobos 2023 season preview. That's one of the questions I got to ask. As I know we're about to key in on the portal, I got to ask about Rocky Long leaving for Syracuse. I think he had previously had ties with Dino Babers, and I said, is this something? Danny Gonzales, first off, Rocky Long's his guy. Yeah. So he said, "What do you mean? My guy's getting more money?" And we had already been kind of building for at some point shifting over to a new DC that would be younger at some point, just because we knew Rocky Long's older, but at the same time,
I mean, how could you possibly give the guy a hard time?
Yeah,
he's responsible for building this program.
Yeah, Troy Reffitt is the new DC, and apparently he was kind of already we had Rocky Long kind of learning from him. And then Danny Gonzales said the same thing happened to me when he was at San Diego State as the DC. And first Rocky was calling the defense, and then the transition, and the same for Zach Arnett, who's Mississippi State's head coach.
Yeah. A clean handoff.
Yeah.
It can happen.
So
Tony Reffitt, by the way, was North Texas's defensive coordinator a few years back, came to New Mexico to be the defensive coach, kind of a step down, to join.
Not when you're working for Rocky Long.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe a great.
It's like, wait, I get a couple years to hang out with Bud Foster or Rocky Long,
one of the greatest minds.
Gary Patterson. Yeah.
Yeah. So he took full advantage, and he has been groomed. I don't know if that's a usable word anymore. But groomed for the position, and he's taking over, and hopefully it's a seamless transition for them. They're pretty good last year.
Yeah, but the defense was good last year. It was the offense that was the problem. Let's talk a little bit about the portal and what is departing. Linebacker Deion Hunter gone. I don't think that's a huge loss. I don't think he did much. Running back Chad Alexander gone.
Actually, Hunter was fourth leading tackler. Apparently, they had one guy graduate of their top 7 tacklers. One guy graduate. One guy go pro, and 5 transfer.
But Deion Hunter hasn't landed anywhere. That's interesting.
Yeah. He's
just sitting there in the portal, at least according to 24/7 Sports, which can be wrong sometimes, as I noticed this offseason. Next up, running back Chad Alexander, as I alluded to, in the portal. Cornerback AJ Odoms is now at UTEP. That's kind of tough because that's kind of like right down the road.
Yeah, right around the corner.
They also lost wide receiver Trey Hall, but once again the offense was terrible, so get out of here.
Yeah.
They also lost Antonio Hunt at the cornerback spot.
Again, no real production to speak of.
Quarterback CJ Montez has gone to Fordham.
Yeah. Nothing.
This one I think hurts. Defensive lineman Ian Schul to Arizona State. It's a big loss. Big loss.
Let me see. Ian Schul production wise. Good for a good sack and a half and a pick. Ouch. That's an impact kind of guy at the defensive line position.
Then defensive lineman Jaden Phillips headed out to Sam Houston State, who's jumping up to the FBS this very year. Another loss that is probably at similar level. Sam Houston State, for all you know, could end up in the Mountain West at some point, hypothetically here. But
Jaden Phillips, 20 tackles and 1 sack. Mild production, a little depth loss there.
This was a huge loss here. Adari Halsey, safety, to Houston with Dana Holgerson.
Adari Halsey. I'm not seeing what his production, but that's a tough one. Anytime Houston's nabbing a guy, you're gonna.
Yeah. I want to say he was all conference a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Safety Ronald Wilson to Incarnate Word.
All right.
Then you have cornerback Xavier Haley to the portal.
Losing all over the place. And defensive depth.
Wide receiver Jordan Porter to UConn. Going cross country there. Running back Peyton Dixon to Nevada in conference. Ouch.
Slap in the face.
Then you have cornerback Andrell Barney. He is still, I think he went JUCO. Athlete Jamar Sanders to Lamar.
Jamar Sanders, a little bit of production there. Great rushing average, 12.5 yards per rush. So maybe a bit of explosion loss there.
And that's what they lost.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about what they gained, because I think you can make a case they might have won the portal.
Okay.
Safety Noah Pola Gates coming in from Nebraska.
Nice.
Colorado offensive tackle Travis Gray coming into the Lobos.
2 Power 5s.
Mississippi State wide receiver Caden Pope comes in to the Lobos.
3.
East Carolina tight end Max Lance comes in to the Lobos. 4.
You wish.
Well, they play at a Power 5 level. Georgetown offensive center Sam Telesa coming in. The Hoyas. TCU safety Diarco Perkins McAllister coming into the Lobos.
Getting a defensive back from TCU, always a good thing.
Yeah. Then you have UAB quarterback Dylan Hopkins. This guy started at UAB over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I love this kid. This is why I think they won the portal. Yeah. They finally got a guy that can actually complete a pass.
good for 28 touchdowns and 11 picks over the last 2 years.
Yeah,
I think you take that.
Yeah, and not only that, they added some depth. DC Tabscott, quarterback from Appalachian State, also coming in. Then
it looks like Hopkins might have some wheels too. 6'2",
Hopkins can play, man.
Yeah.
He can play. TCU wide receiver Caleb Medford coming in.
Okay,
couple guys, national
crossing
championship
state
pedigree.
lines there.
Oklahoma safety Bryson Washington coming in. Washington State defensive end Gabriel Lopez coming in. ULM running back Andrew Henry coming in. Never fade about in a big game, Patty C. And San Diego wide receiver Xavier Van comes in from the Toreros. Look, you saw what San Diego had a player drafted this past year. So there is that. And that would you say they won the portal, Patty C?
I think picking up your quarterback, your starting quarterback, especially when your offensive production has been so bad over the past few years. I mean, especially passing. Have we gone into their?
Not yet.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the worst passing teams in the country. If you get a quarterback who
and he's familiar with the offense because it's Bryant Vincent's offense.
Yeah,
they hired Bryant Vincent from UAB.
Yeah,
he was the head coach last year at UAB.
He was the offensive coordinator, took over as the interim head coach.
Yeah.
So essentially, he's been running the offense for years there.
Yeah,
had a good year last year as the interim, like you said, didn't get rehired. Comes over,
and I kind of thought he should have got rehired.
Yeah.
He comes in, and I think that's a win. Now, the offensive side of the ball, Patty C, a year ago, the Lobos 129th in scoring offense, 100th in rush offense, 127th in pass offense, charting at the number 130 offense in America. That's brutal.
Yeah,
absolutely brutal.
Very bad.
Only one way to go, buddy.
That's right. 127 in passing offense. We said. Now UAB, I am curious. I didn't pull this up beforehand, but I will momentarily. I'm curious where their overall offense was. UAB, they were 53rd overall offense. So
yeah, they're going to be better.
Get that offense with a 2-year starter at the quarterback coming in. Maybe you get a big jump out of your offense.
And they bring back 8 offensive starters that have started games in college football. I know all of them were not on the Lobos last year, but I am optimistic on the development here on the offensive side of the ball. So at starting quarterback, we have Dylan Hopkins with Devin Dampier and DC Tabscott battling out, I think, for the second spot. The running back situation, Andrew Henry comes in from ULM, and him and Christian Washington, I think, are going to be guys getting the carries there. They also have Sherrod White and Dorian Lewis.
Christian Washington good for 310 yards last year.
Andrew Henry, I think, was solid at ULM. Okay. The wide receiver position, they bring back Andrew Erickson and Luke Wysong, but to me, I'm excited to see what these transfers can do.
That's how bad this passing offense was. Luke Wysong was the leading receiver with 34 catches, 291 yards, and 1 touchdown. You need more out of your aerial attack.
I'm excited to see what these transfers from Mississippi State and TCU can do. They also brought in Jeremiah Hickson from Alabama State. So
nice additions.
Excited to see what they can do there. They also have the Arizona State guy, Gort. But tight end Trace Bruckler's back, Patty C.
There you go.
The offensive line brings back 4 of 5. And I think that's where you circle. That's what you circle.
They were terrible last year, but they gotta be getting better. You would think a year older.
Yeah. So maybe something there. And development. Defensively, they lose Rocky Long, but like I said, Tony Reffitt's going to be running their same stuff.
Again, it's getting the knockoff version of the expert. What was that movie? Multiplicity. What was that terrible
Multiplicity?
That Michael Keaton one, where every clone he makes is just like a dumber version of the previous one.
I was not thinking we would have a Multiplicity reference, but I can appreciate that. Or it could be like Gung Ho, the movie where he's making cars against Japan and he's in Michigan, because the Japanese cars are definitely fucking better.
I miss the 80s and 90s.
But let's talk about the defensive side of the ball, because a year ago, like I said, this was a stout defense considering they were on the field like 58 minutes of the game. 59th in scoring defense, 75th in rush defense, 28th in pass defense, charting at the 45th best defense in America, Patty C.
Yeah, that's incredibly impressive. When you have that poor of an offense, we were discussing before the episode, we think it's more impressive to have a dominant or a good defense when you have a terrible offense than it is a great offense when you have a bad defense. If you have a bad defense, you can still have an offense that, gets into a shootout. But if you have a terrible offense, then the other team has the ball the whole game.
Yeah.
They might even give up touchdowns by themselves, which counts against your scoring defense.
Yeah.
And the other team has leverage. They can get creative with their play calling. There's never it's impossible. It's very hard. And so that's an incredible number right there.
Now they bring back just 3 defensive starters, but I asked Danny Gonzales, is he worried about that? And to me, he was like, I think he was still questioning if the offense can be good, because he was very confident. Now he is a defensive guy. He's like, no, I think we'll be fine on defense.
Yeah.
It's like the question is on the offensive side of the ball, can we do this? The defensive line breaking in like an entirely new defensive line, but Gabriel Lopez coming in from Washington State, penciled in as a starter. They run the 3-3-5. Obviously, Rocky Long created that. Tyler Keene is the nose tackle, and left end Kyler Drake. They got to step up. They got to step up and get their defensive line, always so huge in football. Linebacker play, man, just all brand new linebackers. Patty C. Well, Alec Morenso is penciled in to be a starter. I see he started a few games. I think 3 starts a year ago. Mm-hmm. So I guess you got a little bit of continuity there. Middle linebacker Ray Luatele is going to be starting. Also Dimitri Johnson. And then the Lobo linebacker, which was famously Brian Urlacher's spot.
What is that, basically a cover 2, like linebacker safety hybrid kind of deal?
Yeah.
Tampa 2.
Yeah.
What have you?
Yeah. Tavion Combs, and he was there last year, so they're bringing back the most important player. Dante Martin at right corner is back. He is a stud. I know I had a chance to sit down with Dante. He was a very nice guy out of Oxnard, California, and look, he's good, and I asked him the same question. He thinks his defense will be better this year. So Zach Morris at the left corner. Zach Morris, saved by the bell.
Hello.
And then you got two.
Please let that guy make a lot of last second great plays.
Do we have a Slater on this team? Can we find a Slater on this roster? And Marvin Covington at the Wolf linebacker.
We got to name someone Screech. On principle.
No, I got Screech. Pens. Diarco Perkins McAllister at the other safety spot as well. It's a TCU transfer. Both safeties are TCU transfers. So they run the 3-3-5 there. So it makes a lot of sense.
Easy transition there.
Patty C, I'm just going to go ahead and say their kicker and punter back. Their kicker is Luke Drwecki, and he wasn't very good last year.
62% on field goals.
He is Screech.
That's Screech right there.
We have Screech. Do we have a Slater on this roster anywhere? You're telling me there's not a Slater on the offensive line somewhere? I mean,
no Slaters.
No Slaters on this lineup.
Do we have any ACs? We got to find a guy with AC in the initials.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We might be able to figure that one out. But I can tell you this. Who's Kelly Kapowski, huh?
That's what I want to know. So hold on. Jarek Reed went to the NFL. Rico Hanna went to the portal, or no, he graduated. So Jarek Reed was second on the team in tackles. Hanna was fifth on the team in tackles. Then Cody Moon went to the portal.
Yeah.
Halsey went to the portal. Hunter went to the portal.
Yep.
Odoms went to the portal. And Ronald Wilson.
Everyone's gone.
God, that's a lot of defensive production.
They don't need them. Reload.
I guess New Mexico reloads. Top 7 tacklers gone.
Get out of here. Look, we're gonna talk all about. So Patty, do you think the defense will be better?
No, you lost your top 7 tacklers.
Dante Martin believes the defense will be better. Danny Gonzales, he didn't necessarily say the defense will be better. He just said, "I'm not worried about the defense.
It'll be okay."
Yeah.
Well, if you're the 45 overall defense and you take a slight step back, you still might be above average.
Yeah.
So the defense, I think, will step back.
The offense will step up, though. There's no way to go.
Yeah. Overall, what that means remains to be seen.
We will get to it. We're going to go game by game on the Lobos schedule. How do you see you been to the great state of New Mexico?
I think I've driven through it. In fact, I know I have.
I like New Mexico. Underrated
Let
state.
me tell you.
Underrated state.
I think I've told you the story of marijuana.
Yeah.
I'll get to that another time.
Yeah.
But essentially, we got stuck in the traffic jam on, I think it's the 40 or maybe it was the 10. Is it 40?
40, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And pulled off, went backwards on the highway, started driving down the highway backwards to get off on an exit. Or I think we crossed over like a grass median and drove the other way back along the highway. Pulled off, went to a gas station off on some res and met some really, really grungy dude named Marijuana. Marijuana, if you're listening out there.
Yeah, we welcome you to hit us up. We will send you a shirt.
That's right. Anyway, he gave me a bunch of seeded up herb and smoked with us on the highway and then took us to a abandoned mining town and Scooby-Doo appeared and
nice. Well, I think that happened in an episode of Succession.
Okay.
They did that in New Mexico. I really think the state's fantastic. I've been to Taos, awesome. I've been to Santa Fe, awesome. I've had good times in Albuquerque.
Oh yeah.
I've always wanted to go to the White Sands. So look, I think you might have a little bit of a recruiting thing. If they can get it going, that elevation they play at too, come on, let's get it going.
I was just in New Mexico in January. I drove across the country, stopped in the Longhorn Steakhouse there in I think it was Albuquerque.
Longhorn, Patty C at the Longhorn Steakhouse.
I've been in Albuquerque lately.
There you go. Folks, look, before we get to the game by game part of the schedule, we want to tell you that the college football experience, the Mexico Lobo style or episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, the NFL season is right around the corner. Underdog Pick'em is a great way to get down on a ton of NFL player props. It's available in a ton of different markets as well. So if your state doesn't have gambling, this is how you do the old quarterback sneak. Plus, there's plenty of opportunities to win with their daily MLB contest. And of course, make sure you enter the Best Ball Mania where first place gets $3 million. Head on over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. All right, Patty C. Look, I had a question to ask. I went and heard Gloria Nevarez speak. She is the commissioner of the Mountain West, and I asked, why do you have a more aggressive approach to play weekday games? Because we've seen the MAC benefit from that. CUSA is doing it this year a lot. The Mountain West does some, but I feel like they should be a little more committed. Mm-hmm. Brett Yormark's been very adamant that over the next couple of years, there's going to be a lot of weekday games. New Mexico's one where I feel like on a Saturday, they get lost in the luster.
Yeah. Very much.
Like I know New Mexico is not necessarily in charge of aligning this, but I know some of it has to do with their TV contract with CBS and ESPN. Yeah. But I would highly encourage them to try to key in on that more because I think that's how you get the sleeping giant awake.
I mean, the dog days of summer, which we're in right now, should be an indication to you, if you're like the rest of us, that you are starved for sports. Every night of the week becomes the summer is eternally long because of the lack of sports. It's the same thing during the week for big time football fans. You need something on the weeknights.
And how about this, folks? There's less and less people together in 2023 than years prior, the decades prior. That means there's more independence, right? People sitting there at home, right?
Needing something.
Yes,
to watch.
they work jobs in a cubicle, or if not in a cubicle, then at home on the computer. We know a bunch of them. We employ some. So
we are some.
Yes, we are some. Yes. And look, I honestly want football and like college basketball gets it right. There's games on every night. And people will say, well, we got to worry about fan turnout, right? On weeknights. Not when I watch the Pit on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
It's rocking.
Just on fire.
Yeah. So I believe it's all there. Like that match, baby. Like that fucking
Friday
match.
nights are wide open right now.
Yeah. Thursdays, Fridays, Wednesdays. Let's go. Folks, if you're watching this on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Remember, we host all of the college football experience, the FCS college football experience, college basketball experience. Hey, Lobo fans, every night of the college basketball season, I will be live here talking college basketball. We're going to have some preseason episodes coming in the coming weeks. So subscribe, tell a friend, and we come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. But if you're watching on YouTube right now, you see the sweet graphic. Shout out to Cam, our graphics guy. The win total sitting at 3.5, Patty C. First reaction to 3.5. They lost a ton. You're probably thinking no, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about a team that hasn't eclipsed 3 wins in what, like 5 years. No, it hasn't since 2016. So getting to 4 seems like a pretty big jump.
I did stumble upon a stat that I find crazy before we get into the first game. You know, New Mexico hasn't blocked a punt in 14 years.
That's bizarre. Don't ever compare Rocky Long to Bud Foster again.
Well, Rocky Long's been at San Diego State. They've blocked a lot of punts.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
He did a little pit stop at New Mexico. Actually, that stat probably goes back to when he was head coach of New Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah. But let's hop into it. Week 1. Shout out to the SEC for they never go for, Fresno State. I feel like they go for, or Boise State. They go now for the Lobos. And when they did, Boise State did beat Georgia.
I will say though, this is now an SEC border battle.
True.
So maybe they're going to stretch in New Mexico eventually. Kind of doubt it.
New Mexico at Texas A&M, Patty C. Any chance Road Red Face, eats dirt in College Station?
Eats ass week 1.
Yeah.
Not really. No.
0-1 for the Lobos. Then the Tennessee Tech. What are they? The Golden Eagles, I think it is.
Yep.
Come into town. They were 4-7 a year ago, and I believe they lost Jeremiah Oatsvall, their quarterback. And it's always tricky because of the COVID eligibility. I believe he's done, but he might have another year. This is a win for the Lobos.
It's a little bit of a dangerous game, but yeah, probably.
This is a great setup for them, though. If they can accomplish this, if they can, like there's a great way to build momentum. I guess is what I'm trying to say. If you look at the beginning of the schedule after A&M, I feel like there's winnable games. Now, obviously, you get what's the name of this rivalry again?
Oh, it's not the Civil War. It's just not the war on I-40.
No, I think that's UTEP, New Mexico State, right? Yeah. There's a name for this rivalry. We're talking New Mexico State and New Mexico, but
that is the Rio Grande rivalry.
Yes, the Rio Grande rivalry. I think I lean Jerry Kill just because I just think Jerry Kill is a fucking really good coach. I mean, not to knock against Danny Gonzales, but I kind of think they're ahead of schedule right now.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, so they played last year and New Mexico lost by 12, right? But that was in Las Cruces. This is in Albuquerque.
New Mexico State has kind of seized control here. I feel like they have an all-time lead in this series.
This should be a weeknight game.
73-34.
Put this fucking game on Thursday night.
This game should be on the last week of the season.
That's true. It should be the last week of the season too. Big fail there. And I want New Mexico State in the Mountain West. Let's go. Yeah. It's winnable. It's a very winnable game.
So the score last year was 21-9.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go Aggies. I don't know.
This is a 50-50 game, dude.
This is tough. Albuquerque may be a tougher place to play. I'm going Aggies.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So 1-2. Now they head to the McGurk. Love this rivalry. What do we call this one? The Roswell Bowl.
That's right.
New Mexico at UMass. I got to favor New Mexico, but this is a far trip. But at least I got to favor New Mexico by a little bit there.
It is a long trip. UMass was pretty terrible. What was their record?
1-11.
1-11. Yeah, we got to go
2-2.
Lobos here, yep.
Dude. But they could if they get New Mexico State, they could be sitting there 3-1 heading into War Memorial on September 30th. I spoke to Craig Bull at Mountain West Media Day, and I feel like he's very confident in his team. I don't know that I've ever seen him this confident in the Cowboys, so I got to take them as a loss on September 30th. But I will have people know that I called for New Mexico as a 17 or 18 point dog to win outright 2 years ago at War Memorial, and that came to fruition. I feel like this will be a closer game than people think. Take the points in New Mexico.
Well, a defensive slugfest. You're in the game.
Yeah. 2-3 at the bye week. What do you got them at?
2-3.
Then they host San Jose State on October 14th. This is a sneaky game. I like San Jose State to win it, but it could be a little cold. I got caught in a blizzard in fucking New Mexico in October, mid-October. Yeah.
Yeah. Desert's got some funny, and what is it about the desert? It's just like, there's no walls. There's no hills. There's no moisture to like regulate the temperature. If it gets cold, it gets cold as shit. If it gets hot, it gets hot as shit.
But no, I think it was right around that time that I was there that there was a big ass blizzard. Patty C,
Oh, San Jose State.
Yeah, San Jose State gets the dub.
Here's
2
an
and
interesting
4.
one.
2 and 4, and then I actually like New Mexico to win this game because of the weather and the altitude. Timmy Chang comes to University Stadium in Albuquerque. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Oh gosh, I don't know what I did on the Hawaii podcast, but I'll tell you this. Here's a hedge for you. They're gonna get at least one of these next 3, maybe 2 of the next 3. So let's give them Hawaii. Let's give them the dub against Hawaii.
Yeah, so that's got them at 3, right?
Yeah.
The win total's at 3.5.
And they better win one of these next 2 games because the end of the season is pretty tough.
Well, they head to Reno. This is a winnable game.
That is a winnable game.
To take on the Wolfpack of Nevada.
Nevada was 2-10, just like they were last year, and equally awful.
They're winning one of these games right here.
Yeah, between Nevada and UNLV.
UNLV is in Albuquerque the very next week. That gives them a 4th win. I'm on the over.
Yeah.
And then they head to Boise and Fresno back-to-back weeks. Brutal.
Loss.
And then home to Utah State.
Probably a loss.
I agree. But
4-8, moving in the right direction. It's your first winning, or first 4-win season. And how many years is that? 20 says 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
That's what they're seeking.
It's your best season in the last 7 years. You take it. Progress.
Let me ask you this. I could build you a case for New Mexico getting to a bowl. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Tennessee Tech win.
Yeah.
New Mexico State win. UMass win.
Yep.
And I actually think there wouldn't be any huge upsets by me building this case.
Not at all.
Hawaii, Nevada, UNLV. That's 6.
Yeah.
I actually think, and if I had to guess for an upset, I think they're capable of beating Utah State at home at University Stadium on November 24th.
There you go.
Or at Wyoming, because I just feel like Wyoming never blows teams out. So it's like one play could make a difference.
Oh,
maybe that first block punt in 14 years.
They're putting up a statue if Danny Gonzales goes bowling this year.
Let's go.
6
He should have a statue.
Where is he safe? Where's his job in jeopardy?
Well, if he does 4 wins, you think he's back?
He should be. I think he's making progress a little bit there.
3?
Maybe not.
So that's a huge 4th game there.
Yeah. Gotta hit the over, Danny.
Well, we've talked about this. We want Danny Gonzales to make it work at New Mexico. I want him to be at New Mexico for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
But Bronco Mendenhall has ties.
True.
So you got to wonder if you go 3 wins, 4 wins.
Yeah. Bronco Mendenhall has been known to get 7, 8, 9, 10 wins for most of his career, even at UVA. Which I can attest to is hard as hell these days. So that would be statue worthy at maybe Danny Gonzales really does need to prove something if a guy like Bronco Mendenhall is out there.
Yeah, and we don't want to wish unemployment for Danny Gonzales because I like him. He was actually a really nice guy. But what would be? Do you think that would be the home run hire?
You got to win, baby. You got to win.
You think that'd be the home run hire though?
Yes, of course. Bronco Mendenhall, that'd be a hell of a
What about like Andy Ludwig, the OC of Utah, if they were able to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, I mean, traditionally it's been defense, but
that's Ken Niumatalolo.
Be fun.
Would that work?
Obviously, the triple option it's like.
Is there one that would be like a fucking absolute home run to you? Is Mendenhall?
No, there's nothing that. I mean, yes, Mendenhall, I guess. Yeah, Mendenhall would be.
I'm trying to think if is there anyone else that you would just say? What about if they landed Garrett Riley?
Yes, that would be a home run. I
don't think you would take it, right?
I mean, what constitutes a home run job aside from being a good coach? Regional ties. We looked at their recruiting. They're heavy into Texas, obviously.
But Texas is right there. That's why Garrett Riley might consider it, right?
Yeah. They're heavy into California. And other than that, it's
I got it all right here.
Relatively evenly dispersed.
I got it all right here. 32 players from New Mexico, 14 from Texas, 27 from California.
Oh, so they're heavier in California than they are
they
Texas.
Got 5 from Florida. So getting into Florida, and don't sleep on the one from New Hampshire. All right,
there you go. That's the perks of playing that Roswell Bowl against UMass. Is you can get one guy out of the Northeast.
They got 2. They got one out of what state is that? New York, and one out of maybe New Hampshire, or Connecticut,
Maine.
Yeah. So get up there, play those games against UMass. We love the Roswell Bowl. Folks, I realize right now we were supposed to jump to College Football Campus Tour being on the show, but did not upload. The clip did not upload. I had a chance to sit down with College Football Campus Tour to talk about University Stadium, so I apologize for not being able to play that video right now. But we will have him back on the show to talk about University Stadium. It is a great stadium, Patty C. Look at the history.
Maybe splice that in on for the Spotify and listeners.
Yeah, I could do that. I could certainly do
There
that.
we go. But for you guys watching on YouTube, yeah, College Football Campus Tour. I'm curious about New Mexico's football stadium, though.
Yeah, no. So it's a cool stadium. It's a stadium that was built. So University Stadium, stadium opened 63 years ago. Patty C.
Okay.
63 years
Got
ago.
some tradition there.
Seats about 40,000, just shy of 40,000. And dude, it's outdoors. That's what you want with a football stadium, right?
Yeah, beautiful views of the mountains in the background.
Dude, that's a
desert
good stadium.
mountains.
That is a good football stadium. All right.
Yeah, the potential is there.
I want both New Mexico schools to be really good at football.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I guess Arizona's got Scottsdale, Phoenix, but they're similar states in terms of I guess geography and probably culture.
Yeah.
And so why not? Why can't they be good? Arizona and Arizona State have had some great years. How about New Mexico and New Mexico State?
Let's go.
Let's maybe not New Mexico State on this podcast.
Oh yeah, you're about to get that hate, folks. Subscribe to the College Football Experience as we break down all 133 teams with a solo podcast for each and every team in the land. So subscribe, tell a friend, and look. Patty C is on Twitter at Patty C831. I'm on Twitter at the Colby D. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. And like I said, we're on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Watch the show live, folks. As we break down every team in the land. We also host the FCS College Football Experience, and the College Basketball Experience. Get over there, listen to that. The Pit games at the Pit are awesome. Richard Pitino doing a great job with that program. They should be, I think, perhaps a preseason favorite, them or San Diego State.
Hello.
To win the Mountain West, the Mountain West basketball has gotten fucking
Pretty
awesome.
legit. Pretty legit.
So check out that. Get the SGPN app. It's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. We got Phil Steele coming on next week to talk college football, or actually this week. By the time you're listening to it this week, so check us out, and yeah, all right, and come talk Lobo hoops or football with us in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We're always talking sports there, so you will appreciate it. Until next time, this is the College Football Experience, New Mexico Lobo style. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.